The top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. eyes a 5-year rice trade agreement with Vietnam to help address the farmers' food security concerns during the sidelines of the 43rd Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit. The PNP Internal Affairs Service recommends dismissal from service against 8 policemen involved in the killing of teenager Jemboy Baltazar. Bureau of Corrections Director General Gregorio Catapang Jr. reveals inmates and their visitors explore ways of smuggling contraband inside the National Penitentiary. And one of the worst missile strikes from Russia in months hit an outdoor market in the eastern Ukrainian region, leaving 17 people dead and dozens injured. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, September 7, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Hardy Delgado. First in the news. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. called on the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, to rally and take action over the dangerous use of Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels in the South China Sea, as he asserted the country's sovereign rights and maritime jurisdiction in the Philippine waters. In his intervention during the 18th East Asia Summit in Jakarta, Indonesia, President Marcos called on member countries and its partners to harness their shared interests and rally together in taking joint action guided by ASEAN centrality and universal multilateralism. The said summit was attended by Chinese Premier Li Qiang, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Japan Prime Minister Fumio Kishida was also present, along with South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, United States Vice President Kamala Harris, and other world leaders. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. held bilateral meetings with Vietnam and Cambodia at the sidelines of 43rd Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit. The president wants stronger ties to the countries in the areas of food security and trade and commerce. Nelma Ribohok reports.
The Philippines and Vietnam are working on a 5-year rice trade agreement that is hoped to help address the farmers' food security concerns. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Vietnamese Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh met on the sidelines of the 43rd Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit on Thursday.
Our two countries will complete an intergovernment agreement on rice trade, so that Vietnam can integrate one guiding export to the Philippines, like issue of food security. We look forward to having a stable framework of cooperation on rice trade for a long period of at least 5 years. And with that, we thank our officials that thing, and you can also ensure our
As a response, the president said he recognized the market's current volatility and the need for adjustment by every country. He said the suggestion of a longer-term arrangement is an important one because just having that as an assurance will stabilize the situation, not only for the Philippines but for all in the region. Meanwhile, President Marcos is looking forward to a stronger partnership with Cambodia in the areas of food security, trade and commerce, and people-to-people exchanges. During his bilateral meeting with Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet, PBBM raised the possibility of sourcing rice from Cambodia.
Agriculture, especially in the face of what we are anticipating in terms of the El Nino and the drought that it brings. We hope that we can find an agreement.
Cambodian officials said their country is targeting to get a 1% share of the market of imported rice in the Philippines by 2024. Nelma Ribohok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Grain Retailers Confederation of the Philippines, or GRECON, estimates that retailers may lose almost 50,000 pesos in a week due to the implementation of the price cap on rice. Last Tuesday, September 5, the government set the prices of regular milled rice at 41 pesos per kilogram, while well-milled rice is priced at 45 pesos per kilogram. These changes would result in a loss of about 5 pesos per kilogram on the retailer side. The group is requesting that the government allow them to sell their inventory that was purchased at a higher price.
So hindi natin talaga kakayanin yung 15,000. So yun naman is nakita rin natin kung ganun yung tulong, makakabawas na rin sa gastusin. Kaya alam po talaga, hindi aabot lalo na sa mga retailers talaga natin maliliit.
The Department of Trade and Industry has stated that the distribution of the 15,000 peso cash assistance for retailers may start in a few days. A political science expert said that the transfer of 125 million pesos to the Office of the Vice President from the Office of the President as confidential fund is an impeachable offense. Dante Almento tells us why.
Political scientist Professor Antonio Contreras said the act of the President to transfer 125 million pesos to the Office of the Vice President as confidential fund is unconstitutional. It violates Article 6, Section 25, Paragraph 5 of the Constitution, and it is an impeachable offense.
I don't want to say this, but I think the remedy here is this is an impeachable offense. This is a gross violation of the Constitution.
Both the President and the Vice President are allegedly liable.
Meron ding pagkakamali kasi technical malversation.
Tinanggap niya.
Tinanggap mo. Di ba tinanggap mo? Tinanggap mo yun nga tayo, pag ikaw ay bumili ng nakaw na gamit, pwede ka rin isama sa kaso, hindi ba?
Contreras explains that the transfer of such fund needs a law and should be for the augmentation purposes only.
Nang nangyari ngayon, ang presidente lumipat ng pera na gagamitin confidential fund ni OVP na walang act of Congress kasi yung batas na naglikha ng contingency fund nagsabi na pwedeng ilipat ng presidente. Yun ang kiniklaim ni Bersamin. Yung hindi mismo ang Congress na nag-appropriate.
But Contreras also believes with the current composition of the Congress, which a majority of its members are allies of the President, it is hardly impossible for an impeachable complaint to prosper.
Hindi porket hindi mangyayari yun, hindi na natin kailangang pag-usapan. Para naman sa akin, pag-usapan natin para alam ng mga tao na this is just, it's possible. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, suntok sa buwan yan. Hindi mangyayari yan.
Dante Almento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The PNP Internal Affairs Service recommends dismissal from service against 8 policemen involved in the killing of teenager Jemboy Baltazar on August 2. PNP Internal Affairs Service Inspector General Attorney Alfigar Triambulo says the 8 are found guilty in the administrative case filed against them. Leia Ilagan will tell us why. Exclusive.
The Philippine National Police Internal Affairs Service recommends dismissal from the service against 8 policemen involved in the killing of teenager Jerome Jemboy Baltazar last August 2 in Navotas City. Internal Affairs Service Inspector General Attorney Alfigar Triambulo says the evidence is strong, proving that they were involved in the shooting of Jemboy.
Ang IAS recommendation dito po sa mga sangkot sa pagkamatay ng minor na si Jemboy ay dismissal from the service.
Attorney Triambulo said 6 of them, including Police Executive Master Sergeant Roberto Balais Jr., Police Staff Sergeant Antonio Bugayong Jr., Police Staff Sergeant Jerry Maliban, Police Staff Sergeant Nico Pines Esquilon, Police Corporal Edmart Jake Blanco, and Patrolman Benedict Mangama are guilty of grave irregularity in the performance of duty and conduct unbecoming of a police officer. While Police Captain Mark Joseph Carpio and Police Captain Luisito de la Cruz, who served as team leaders, are also found guilty of grave neglect of duty.
Itong anim dito ay umaamin na talagang sila ay nagputok sa kanilang baril. At ayon din sa witness, ito po ay direkta po sa kay Jimboy, kaya ito po ay ang dahilan kaya po namatay ang minor dahil tinamaan siya ng bala.
Ano ang recommendation naman nyo doon sa dalawang opisyal na team leader po nitong...
Ang aming recommendation doon, sila po ay guilty ng serious or grave neglect of duty. Dahil ito ay hindi lang personally supervise sila, nandoon talaga sila sa kasama sa operation.
The recommendation of the IAS has been sent to the Regional Director of the National Capital Region Police Office yesterday, September 6. Attorney Triambolo adds, NCRPO Director Police Brigadier General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. will be the approving authority.
Ayon pa rin sa existing rules, sila po ay una-una mawala ng benepisyo at ang kanilang mga eligibility ay automatically forfeited at they are barred from joining again any office of the government.
Meanwhile, the IAS is still hearing the case against the former Chief of Police of Navotas and 22 others due to the incident.
Yung kaso ng 23 na kasama itong 8 at yung kanilang ng Chief of Police dahil nga sa violation ng criminal law natin, dishonesty dahil sa pagpalsipay o sa hindi pagsasabi ng totoo sa official document. Tsaka conduct unbecoming po kasi itong kanilang ginagawa ay nakakahiya na dapat hindi tularan.
It can be recalled that on August 2, 8 policemen shot Jemboy Baltasar in Barangay NBBS, Kaunlaran, Navotas City due to mistaken identity. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Department of Public Works and Highways ensures all projects in the 2024 proposed budget have been validated. Meanwhile, DPWH admits there is low budget allocations for maintenance of national roads. Rosalie Cos details why.
Albay 1st District Representative Edsel Lagman told the Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH that all projects in the 2024 proposed budget should be validated. DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan assured him that his office has been coordinating well with lawmakers for priority projects in their respective legislative district. He made a statement during the DPWH budget deliberation in the House of Representatives.
The preparation of the 24 budget priorities would have to be in coordination, in full coordination with the members of Congress with the National Expenditure Program allocation for each of the members of Congress.
The proposal budget of DPWH for 2024 amounts to 822.2 billion pesos. This is lower compared to this year's budget. Meanwhile, DPWH Secretary Bonoan admitted minimal amount of funds is being allocated for the routine maintenance of national roads. This as Deputy Majority Leader David Suarez questioned him about the issue.
So paano po natin matitiyak ang maayos na pagbiyahe ng ating mga biyahero sa ating mga lansangan? Kumalit po ang pondong inalaan para po sa pagsasaayos at pagre-repair ng ating mga lansangan.
This year, 6.8 billion pesos has been approved for the maintenance and other operating expenses of the DPWH. Of this, 1.82 billion pesos is for the routine maintenance of national roads.
Over the years, there has been minimal allocation for maintenance, and this is the reason why many of the condition of the roads is actually increasingly deteriorating.
The secretary warned this will result in high cost of rehabilitation. Thus, the lawmaker is pushing for higher budget for the maintenance of the national roads. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And for the news abroad. In a significant move aimed at bolstering global security, the United Kingdom announced its intention to classify Russia's Wagner mercenary group as a prohibited terrorist organization. This decision comes in the wake of the demise of Wagner's leader, Yevgeny Prigozhin, as the UK government asserts that the group continues to pose a substantial threat to international stability. Olga Chalyan tells us why live. Yes, Paul, good evening.
Good evening, Joselito. The United Kingdom government unveiled its plan to introduce an order in Parliament seeking to prescribe the Wagner Group under the Terrorism Act, which was ratified by lawmakers. This will prohibit individuals from joining or providing support to Wagner, a paramilitary force that has played a pivotal role in Russia's invasion of Ukraine and has operated in regions such as Syria and various African nations. Home Secretary Suella Braverman emphasized that Wagner is considered terrorists according to UK law, and the law is expected to take effect within days. This classification will place Wagner alongside notorious entities such as the Islamic State group Hamas and paramilitary organizations in Northern Ireland. Although the ban will empower UK authorities to seize the assets of the organization, it is largely symbolic, as Wagner is not only known to have any operations or assets within British territory. This decision follows a recommendation made by Parliament's influential Foreign Affairs Committee in July, which called for the outlawing of the Wagner Group. Meanwhile, the committee expressed concerns that British authorities has downplayed and underestimated the threat posed by these mercenary organizations, noting the uncertain future of Wagner following Prigozhin's short-lived armed mutiny against Russia's top military leaders in June. Several other nations aligned with Ukraine have previously imposed sanctions on Wagner's leaders. Furthermore, earlier this year, both the Lithuanian and Estonian legislatures passed resolutions categorizing Wagner as a terrorist organization. Back to you, Joselito.
Thank you, Paul Gatchalian, reporting live from New Zealand. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Joselito. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. The head of the Bureau of Corrections, or Bucor, admits the New Bilibid prison is not yet free of illegal drugs as inmates and their visitors try new ways of smuggling illegal drugs and contraband. This report will tell us why. The problem of illegal drugs continues to persist within the New Bilibid prison, or NBP. In today's Senate hearing on the escape of inmate Michael Cataroja, Bureau of Corrections, or Bucor Director General Gregorio Catapag Jr. reveals inmates and their visitors explore ways of smuggling contraband inside the National Penitentiary.
So masasabi niya po, hindi pa rin shabu, drug-free ang Bilibid.
Masasabi ko po, totoo po. Kaya talagang kailangan namin yung mga gamit na hindi talaga medyo may kamahalan po. Ang ginagawa po ngayon, kaya po humingi rin kami ng tulong sa inyo, yung condom, pag paumanhin na po, nilalagay po doon lang shabu. Tapos ilalagay po sa puwerta ng mga babae, hindi naman po namin pwedeng kapkapan yung mga babae, makakasuhan naman po kami ng human rights. Yung nga po, yung pinaka-latest po, Mr. Chair, yung mga kalapati, yung mga bata o mga bisita nila may dalang itlog, i-incubate doon, so after so many years, so many months, mapipisa, tapos palalakihin, tuturuan yung mga kalapati maglipad-lipad doon sa paikot. Pagdating naman ng mga bisita nila, ibibigay yung kalapati, tapos matututo na yung kalapati bumalik doon sa kanilang mga pugad.
Katapang says 200 grams of illegal drugs worth 2 million pesos were confiscated inside the NBP. He adds Justice Secretary Crispin Boying Remulla has ordered thorough inspection within the NBP and identified the main source of illegal drugs. Meanwhile, it was also revealed that the maximum security compound security had been waived due to lack of personnel. Senior Inspector Purificacion Hari, who was the officer in charge of the compound at the time of Cataroja's escape, says the Security Patrol Unit or SPU and jail keepers were removed when she assumed the post. She claims they tried to request for additional manpower but to no avail.
Kinabahan nga po ako.
Kinabahan kayo? Bakit?
Kasi po wala na pong SPU and keepers. Wala na pong magmi-maintain ng peace and order sa loob ng maximum. At bilang babae po, mahirap po sa akin mag-maintain ng ganun. So, kinakausap ko po lagi yung commander of the guards.
Opo, maluwag po doon after pasok po nila yung maluwag po. Wala akong email, wala akong SPU. Yung iba lang po nakakakas, kaya hindi na po nakakabalik.
Her former boss, Deputy Director Angelina Bautista, argues it was not her job to assign personnel.
Yung pong sinasabi nilang nirelieve ko po lahat yung keeper at saka SPU. Ang nirelieve po namin, yung pong mga under investigation. Yun po yung mga nangangaroling kahit hindi po Pasko.
Siguro sir, sa ngayon maglagay ka ng siga doon na commander of the guard.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, gagawin po namin.
Katapang plans to transfer over 4,000 persons deprived of liberty next year as part of decongesting the National Penitentiary, which is eyed to be closed down in 2028. Jorge Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God. The Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, shuts down a maritime consultancy firm in Parañaque City due to alleged illegal recruitment. Bernadette Tinoy details why.
The Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, issued today, September 7, a closure order for a maritime consultancy firm in Parañaque City. DMW officer in charge and Undersecretary Hans Leo Cacdat said, this action comes after they received reports that the firm is involved in illegal recruitment and fake job schemes.
Nagpapanggap na consultancy services and in the guise of consultancy ay sa totoo lang nagre-recruit na. Na-establish talaga na illegal recruitment dahil una, yung dalawang elemento ng krimen na-establish, no, yung ng ating mga surveillance teams bago isagawa ito. Una, may recruitment na nangyari at pangalawa, walang lisensya mula sa DMW para mag-recruit.
She added that they initiated surveillance on the agency in March and June and are still investigating potential additional violations while assisting the victims of the firm.
Yung may-ari, yung manager at sino man pang nakikita natin na involved sa mismong akto ng pag-recruit.
Meanwhile, the complainant Robin said she wants to recover the 140,000 pesos he paid to the firm.
Illegal talaga yung recruit nila kasi pag in-interview ka, sasabihin muna nila na panindigan mo na nakapag-official ka na kahit wala pa para ma-approve ka ng principal. Sa marami pang mabibiktima, wag na kayong kumuhan kasi na-action na. Close na yung RTM consultancy.
Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, inspects C5 Katipunan Avenue to make adjustments on worsening traffic situation. JP Nunez explains why.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, observed that the traffic situation on C5 Katipunan Avenue has worsened in light of the resumption of face-to-face classes. This area is home to Miriam College and Ateneo de Manila University. To address the traffic situation, MMDA General Manager Procopio Lipana and other officials inspected the area to assess the actual situation.
Naobserbahan kasi natin nung dito magpasukan at medyo
gumagrabe ang traffic congestion. Kaya ngayon, nandito tayo at pinag-aaralan natin para kahit papano, despite of talagang malaking volume ng mga sasakyan, pinag-aaralan natin kung kahit papano mababawasan natin ang congestion this area, especially during rush hour.
Based on the data from the Traffic Engineering Center of the MMDA, the recorded daily average of vehicles traveling northbound during 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. is 2,757, while southbound vehicles reach 6,636. During the afternoon peak, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., northbound lanes see 4,854 vehicles, while southbound lanes have 5,697 vehicles. GM Lipana said they are considering adjusting the entrance gate of Ateneo de Manila University for vehicles without stickers to reduce traffic congestion. The agency is also looking to utilize the service road near Ateneo Gate 2 for vehicles coming from Marikina. They also plan to limit the lanes used by vehicles turning to universities during rush hour, as they currently occupy 3 lanes of the road.
Tinitingnan natin kung pwede nating gawa ng paraan o malagyan ng cones on separator para malimit yung nang hindi ma-okupa yung going straight to southbound.
Last week, the MMDA held a consultative meeting with officials from Ateneo de Manila University, Miriam College, and the University of the Philippines, Diliman, where they expressed their cooperation in easing traffic flow in their respective areas. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And in other global news, as Blinken visited Ukraine, civilians were killed and dozens injured after a missile strike deemed as one of the worst attacks from Russia in months. Nerissa Dando will tell us why live. Yes, Nerissa, good evening.
Good evening, Joselito. At least 17 people were killed, and including a child, and dozens of civilians were wounded after a Russian missile strike an outdoor market in the eastern Ukrainian region, Donetsk, on Wednesday, September 6. This bombardment was regarded as one of the deadliest attacks of civilians. According to President Volodymyr Zelensky, the Russian missile attack on a civilian area where no military units are nearby was intentional. Moreover, the attack tearing through the market came a few hours after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken landed in Kyiv, Ukraine. Blinken's visit to the country aspires to evaluate Ukraine's 3-month-old counteroffensive and signals the continued U.S. support. In addition to this, according to Blinken, a new aid package will be provided to sustain the momentum of the counteroffensive. This also includes $805 million in non-arms related for law enforcement, humanitarian, corruption combat, and removing mines. Meanwhile, U.S. officials will be discussing an alternative export routes for Ukrainian grain following Russia's refusal to extend the Black Sea grain deal and its frequent attacks on Odessa region's ports. Back to you, Joselito.
Thank you, Nerissa Dando, reporting live from Japan. A United Nations expert criticized Canada's temporary foreign programs as a breeding ground for modern forms of slavery. Jane Robles will tell us why.
Tomoya Obokata, the United Nations specialist in contemporary forms of slavery, expressed concern on Wednesday, September 6, regarding the mistreatment of migrant workers in Canada. During his 14-day fact-finding mission in the country, Obokata highlighted the exploitation and abuse of Jamaican farm workers in the province of Ontario who spoke with him. Migrant workers are hesitant to report any abuses they experienced due to the fear of losing their permits and being deported, which could prevent them from changing employers. Among those included are people with uncertain immigration status, indigenous peoples, individuals with disabilities, people of African descent, former prisoners, and the homeless. Every year, Canada welcomes between 50,000 and 60,000 foreign agricultural laborers on temporary permits to work in various sectors such as planting and harvesting of fruits and vegetables, as well as meat processing. Obokata urged the Canadian government to do more to protect the rights of workers and to provide a clear pathway to permanent residency for all migrants. Jane Robles, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Joselito Liquido, live from Malaysia. Good evening.
Our kasambahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity from Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time through the social media accounts of the Members Church of God International. And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 3, it says, "Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves." And those are the reasons behind the news, September 7, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Hardin Delgado. We serve the people, we give glory to God.